Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Fucking Ada. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of the Nerdic Pro podcast. Hello. And welcome to episode and week number, what week is it now? 194 of Nerdic Pro Weekly. And yeah, my name is, as per usual, Bobby effing Salastar. And so today I'm gonna speak a bit about what I was chatting about this past Wednesday, I believe it was, here on YouTube. And that was opening this bad boy. Right? Opening this being the July 2025 Wrestle Crate. So I fully opened the entire box. Well, I say fully opened. I'd already opened the box when I had it delivered, literally like a couple of days before. I did the podcast. And yeah, so I'll get the fucking thing open again. But yeah, like, I opened it again for podcasting purposes. And yeah, so for those of you that haven't seen what's in it, for some reason the box doesn't want to fucking stay open. Bastard. Right. Right. So July, I got so yeah, I'm just gonna talk a bit about what was in Wrestle Crate for July 2025. My subscription is still active, and I've already paid for the August box. I've also added a like a light box, which is like a smaller one of these. Hopefully it's a bit different to what you get in like the proper, like the bigger one. So yeah, July 2025, the Wrestle Crate got a quiz book, which has got various different, quizzes and puzzles and what have you, and anagrams, crosswords, word searches, a couple of quizzes and what have you, which I think is pretty good. So yeah, it's also got an ECW Extreme hat, a couple of little pin badges on here as well. Couldn't tell you who the fuck they're actually of, but they're two like purpley, pinky coloured cats, if you want to call them that. Couple of key rings. One a Triple H, one a Stone Cold Steve Austin. I think these are quite. I think that these are all quite cool and pretty good. So yeah. And then posters. There's a few posters in here. I got a few extra for free because I used a promo code. So yeah, like they're all signed as well individually. So they've all got like a wet signature on them. One of AEW star, former AEW World Champ and Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champ, Maxwell Jacob Friedman, MJF. WWE Hall of Famer, multi-time world champion, the Heartbreaker Shawn Michaels, current Bullet Club member and British wrestling sensation, Robbie X, pro wrestling knows Jack Morris, who, as I said on Wednesday, is severely underrated, a landscape one of former TNA X Division champion Mustafa Ali, one of former WWE NXT and NXT UK Tag Team Champion, former member of British Strong Style Trent Seven, as well as someone who I have physically shared a wrestling ring with, Harley Hudson. As for those of you that don't know, I referee wrestling here in the UK, and I have shared a ring in one of her matches, one of Harley Hudson's matches, a show in Leeds about a year and a half back. No, sorry, 2.5 years back. Sorry. So yeah, because I've refed a match of hers, and she's obviously now a few months after that match, she went on to go win the 2023 TNA Women's Gut Trek tournament thing. Basically TNA's version of the old WWE Tough Enough. And she's recently gone on to sign a contract and become an official member of the TNA Knockouts division roster. So yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I'm actually quite pleased with these posters, and yeah, so yeah, as I say, I'm quite pleased with these. So yeah, and then there's a shoot interview in here as well with Scott Steiner, WWE Hall of Famer. And multi-time WCW World Tag Team Champion as well. And then there's a CM Punk. Apologies for all the crackling and creaking and shit. It's just like a cherub sound. Like, it's old and it's shit. Keep me in his head like a new one. But yeah, plus a CM Punk Life shirt from the old Straight Edge Society that he used to do with Doc Gallows and Serena Deeb. Like this design in particular was the one that he come back with for a recent pay-per-view match he had in WWE. Can't for the life of me remember which one it actually was, but yeah. So if anyone happens to know, hang on, if I can actually get the design out, then feel free to comment down below what it actually was, because my brain's gone completely fucking blank. And yeah, so yeah, quite impressed with all this. So yeah, how was it with it? Yeah, and then it just comes with a list of what's actually in it. So yeah, then it says AJ Lee exclusive autograph in August WrestleCrate box. So yeah, pretty good. Not gonna lie. So yeah, I actually don't know when I'm due to get the thing, like the August thing for WrestleCrate, because I'm getting another one of these big ones, and then a WrestleCrate Lite, which is a smaller box with not as much in it. So yeah, and I'm also looking into get a thing called a Pro WrestleCrate, but for their premium one with but yeah, for the premium one, because Pro WrestleCrate are an American thing, with the actual box itself. I think that's $39.95, but that's every other month, every 2 months. And yeah, and then shipping is like an extra $17.99, so that's like near on 60 quid. So yeah, like every 2 months. So that's probably not going to be something that I'm going to continue with. I'm going to see how the first one goes, and like see how that is, and then yeah, and then see if it's sort of something that I have and sort of keep. Do you know what I mean? Because with the WrestleCrate, that's an extra £28 something every month. Plus, if I'm doing the Pro Wrestle, and if I'm doing like the WrestleCrate Lite every month, that's I think an extra 15-16 quid a month as well. Plus the bi-monthly one of Pro WrestleCrate or Pro Wrestling Crate, at like near on 60 quid a month, or like every other month. That's a lot of fucking money. So yeah, so yeah, I see that there's someone commenting. Monkey Ninja Anik. I I can't say I know who you are, but you say keep it up, bro. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much indeed. Oh, Christ, whatever. All right, so thank you very much for the comment. Come out here. Not gonna lie, like, I'm quite impressed with the contents of this wrestle, right? Obviously just waiting for the I don't think that they've Christ. I don't think the August ones have actually been dispatched yet. I think they get dispatched on like Tuesday or Wednesday next week or something like that. But I'm going to put an order in on Monday for the Wrestle Crate Light one. So like the miniature version of like one of these. To the best of my knowledge, they don't normally come with like as many posters. I only got like however many is in there because I used the promo code to get like a few extra ones. Because it was like my first Wrestle Crate that I ordered. Like with that promo code, I got a few extras like added in because I've never actually had Wrestle Crate before up until now. And what have you. As I said on Wednesday, I've been meaning to get it for years. Literally by years, I mean going back to when COVID was about, and when here in the UK we literally just got into lockdown. So I've literally been meaning to get it from back then. But literally always been I'll subscribe to it tomorrow. I'll subscribe to it tomorrow. It's 5.5, near 5.5 years later, I've literally only just subscribed to it, and before we do get into actually reviewing Smackdown, tomorrow, keep an eye here on YouTube, and some more Nerdic Pro archive podcasts will be put up here onto YouTube. So keep an eye on that. So Smackdown yesterday, obviously fresh off last weekend's history-making SummerSlam, with it being the first two-night WWE SummerSlam event. Obviously, they've been doing two-night WrestleManias since 2020, WrestleMania 36. And then they decided to do this year's SummerSlam as a two-night event as well, which I thought was an all right idea. Which obviously we saw a new undisputed WWE champion crowned. We saw a new World Heavyweight champion crowned. We saw new women's tag team champions crowned. We saw the lot. Do you know what I mean? So we even saw the return of someone who's been named in the whole Vince McMahon scandal, make his triumphant return to the WWE, being the Beast incarnate, Brock Lesnar, who I'm quite surprised on how he made that big a comeback into the WWE. And wasn't on this week's episode of Raw, and he wasn't on last night's episode of SmackDown, right? To confront Cena, which I was quite surprised about. Instead, we saw there be an announcement like Cena opening up last night's SmackDown. To basically say that, he did mention Brock, but he was just saying that, he was scared into, leaving the WWE as, the fans may forget him, blah, 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 and what have you, and the old Cena's back and all that crap, right? Saying that he's never backed down from a fight with Brock Lesnar before, so he shouldn't back down this time round. But yeah, you know, I'm just quite surprised on how he's not appeared yet. But obviously, we've got Clash at Paris coming up, where we'll be seeing Logan and Cena face to face. Is Brock going to come out then? Or are they just going to use this as a whole big publicity stunt? Like, or are they just going to use Lesnar's return as a whole publicity stunt just to make money on social media? And through YouTube advertisement, Facebook advertisement, Instagram advertisement, TikTok advertisement, and everything. And yeah, they literally just brought Lesnar back just to make a bit of money. You know what I mean? You know, and yeah, you know, because I honestly think that's what they've done. You know, given the whole thing that was going on with Brock and the whole fucking Vince thing, you know, I've not heard about Brock's name being dropped. I know that John Laurinaitis' name was dropped from the case with Vince and Michelle Grant. Is that her name? I know that John Laurinaitis got dropped, but Brock, you know, like I could be wrong. You know, everything could have been dropped with Brock, but you know, I personally haven't seen anything. But I'm gonna have to fucking look that up now, and but like, after this, and then yeah, so but yeah, I just find it very weird the fact that literally it's been a couple of years now since we all saw Brock in WWE because of everything going on with Vince and Michelle Grant and what have you, and yeah, you know, and then he just miraculously returns at the SummerSlam. Literally, no one had, you know, thought about Lesnar being anywhere near the show, and yeah, they fucking kept it quiet, to say the least. And yeah, but yeah, like, not gonna lie, SummerSlam for what it was good. Do you know what I mean? You know, so yeah, like, I think the only sort of thing that brought it down a notch was the return of Brock Lesnar. So yeah, you know, but hey, what can you do? Do you know what I mean? So yeah, so yeah. Anyways, Smackdown yesterday started up obviously with that John Cena promo, which led into Logan Paul coming out, and then saying that Logan wants to face. This Smackdown was in Montreal, in Quebec, in Canada, which is a very large French-speaking area, right? And Logan had said that, you know, he wants to face Cena one-on-one in a French-speaking country, just not in Canada, but a Clash at Paris, or Clash in Paris, whatever the fuck it's called, right? And then next thing you know, Cena gets blindsided by Drew McIntyre. Obviously, Drew and Logan had just beaten Randy Orton and Jelly Roll this past weekend at SummerSlam. And yeah, that then led into Cody Rhodes coming out, helping Cena, and what have you. And then that then led into the main event, which was Cena and Cody, versus Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul. So yeah, anyways, the first match was the Motor City Machine Guns, Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin, taking on Jeff Cobb and Hikuleo. The Motor City Machine Guns looked shit in this match. You know, it was literally just a squash match for Hikuleo and Jeff Cobb. That's all it was, right? Squash match for them to, you know, gain a quick victory like that. You know, show the brute force, show the dominance. You know, obviously as the new bloodline, right? You know, and with Solo parading around with the US title after just having recently beat Jacob Fatu to win the US title, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, this match just made the Motor City Machine Guns look shit. They're multiple-time TNA World Tag Team Champions. I think they've each got, world title reigns there and X Division title reigns. Chris Sabin, former TNA World Champion, multiple-time X Division champion there. Do you know what I mean? It just, as I said, it was like they did a backstage interview with Kathy Kelly literally just before this match, saying that they want to try and regain their WWE tag team titles as they were unsuccessful during the Smackdown TLC match. Smackdown. SummerSlam TLC match for the WWE tag team titles. It was just, squash match for Hikuleo and Jeff Cobb. Crash 501 says hi. Hello, Crash 501. Whoever you are, hello. But yeah, it was an all right match for what it was worth, but kind of expected anything different. But yeah, so anyways, the next match, Solo Sikoa, the tag match. A question: do you think Jon Moxley versus AJ Styles could be possible I'll get on to the next match in a minute. Just answer a question from Crash Holly. From Crash 501, saying a question: do you think Jon Moxley versus AJ Styles could be possible in AEW? Well, it's obviously if AJ were to leave WWE and go into AEW, I wouldn't mind seeing that match. They have wrestled before. Like a notable time was a No Mercy in, was it 2016? 2017? With the triple threat match. So it was AJ, going back to when he was Dean Ambrose, and John Cena for the WWE title. Was it 2016? 2017? Something like that. And yeah, so like they have got experience. They have got experience with each other. But obviously, it all boils down to if AJ were to leave WWE. He is getting on a bit now. So if he were to leave the WWE within the next couple of years, would he still want to continue wrestling, or would he as a full-time thing, or would he stay with WWE as a producer, something like that? Like a backstage sort of personnel sort of thing, or would he, wrestle every couple of months? Do you know what I mean? And like what Cena's currently doing. Wrestle, like you'll see him like on screen, cut a couple of promos like once every couple of weeks, wrestle up the odd time on Raw, wrestle up the odd time on SmackDown, wrestle on the odd pay-per-view. Do you know what I mean? Something like that. But seeing him in a match against Moxley specifically, I think there's a lot of talent in AEW who could who AJ could face. Like obviously AEW is fucking stacked full of people. And yeah, I do think he would probably struggle to have a bad match there. It's like when Penta come into WWE back in January. Like I said then, I think he'd struggle to have a bad match there. Penta in WWE, and Whenever one person leaves WWE to go to AEW, or what it has been recently, AEW going to WWE, like there are people who would, struggle to have what's known as a bad match, So yeah. Crash Fiver one again says, I hope it is the best for AJ to go out WWE. Haha. Hey, what's about this live? He's asking about what the live is. This is a podcast. So yeah. So but yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing AJ in AEW, but I think my personal opinion, I don't think AJ, because like he said before, in in interviews and what have you, he doesn't know like how long that he's actually got left when it comes to wrestling. Is he on his last run when it comes to wrestling? Is he on his last legs and everything? And what have you? Could he go from full time to being a part-time wrestler? Could he go from full time literally just to nothing? Do you know what I mean? Or would he go from WWE straight back to TNA? Or would he go straight back to New Japan? Or would he just have a career of doing the indies and do like the odd sort of few shows here and there, like on the indies? Do signings at Comic Cons and like those sorts of events, etc. Do you know what I mean? It just depends on what AJ is doing at the time. Yeah, so so the tag match of the Motor City Machine Guns, Jeff Cobb and Hikuleo, literally turned straight into Solo Sikoa and Sami Zayn as after the tag match, Solo had got on the mic just to be like, yeah, we basically run this shit now, blah blah blah. And he's got his gear on, but there's no one man enough and what have you to actually want to wrestle Solo and what have you. So this is then when Nick Aldis had come onto the stage. Nick Aldis literally grew up a couple of miles up the road from me. And I was born same place as me. So Nick Aldis come down saying, you are going to be wrestling right here, right now. And your opponent is going to be someone who you know very well, Solo, and someone who Montreal, Quebec knows very well, being none other than Sami Zayn, right? It was obvious that Sami was going to be on the show, in some way, shape, or form. It's in Montreal. Whenever they do a show in Montreal, since Sami's been there, on the main roster, when has Sami never been on the show? You know what I mean? Unless he's been injured, right, and out of action, right? When has Sami never, when has Sami not been on the show in Montreal, Quebec, Canada? Do you know what I mean? He's just always there, and he always gets, the pop of a lifetime, whether he's babyface or whether he's heel. Montreal loves Sami Zayn, formerly El Generico. So, yeah, there is that. So, yeah, again, fairly basic match. Finish was Jeff Cobb and Hikuleo were both distracting Sami on the apron. Sami goes to take Jeff Cobb off the apron, claps him down, turns around to face towards Hikuleo. And he sort of gestures, come at me sort of thing, come on then, blah, blah, blah. And then, Solo Sikoa then comes in, gives him a super kick. He then tries to go in for a Samoan spike onto Sami Zayn. Next thing you know, Sami sort of twists around, gets behind Solo Sikoa, gives him a roll up. 1, 2, 3. Sami Zayn wins the match in his hometown, home city of Montreal in Quebec in Canada. Yeah, again, basic match. We then saw Alexa Bliss's birthday party thing, whatever you want to call it, in the ring. So yeah, with the newly crowned women's tag team champions, Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. Charlotte had brought back Lily from a few years ago when she was when Alexa was with Bray Wyatt, God rest his soul. And for a while, everyone thought that she was going to be Sister Abigail, which originally everyone thought that Rosemary I was someone who, and there were rumors going around years ago saying that Rosemary from TNA was going to be Sister Abigail. And then everyone thought that Alexa Bliss was going to be it. And now it's Nikki Cross, of all people. But yeah. Charlotte had awarded Alexa Bliss Lily, and then she also brought out Charlie as well. Like the dolls that they had, when they were feuding years ago. And then Chelsea Green, Kaylee Ray, and Viper all come out, and basically say that, this is my country, that we're on my turf now. Fuck you sort of thing. And then Charlotte gets on the mic and then basically says, look, I can kick your ass right here, right now. Chelsea Green then goes off. Nick Aldis then comes straight back out and then says, look, I've got a new ref here. His first point of call will be to referee Chelsea Green versus Charlotte Flair right here, right now. So another impromptu match, right? 2 impromptu matches, literally one after the other. Happy days. So, yeah, again, fairly straightforward match. Finish was, they were touring around with figure 8s and figure 4s. Next thing you know, Charlotte had reversed a figure 4 and got out of it to then flip Chelsea Green round to then faceplant Alexa Bliss's birthday cake. Next thing you know, Chelsea Green has got Alexa Bliss's birthday cake all over her. Charlotte Flair then goes in for the figure 8 lid lock, and then Chelsea Green taps out, and then that's that. And then pretty much straight on to the main event. Cody Rhodes and John Cena take on Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul. Finish again like what you'd expect out of the Logan Paul match. So Cena and Logan Paul were in the ring after Cody and Drew went onto the outside to start brawling there. Logan then blatantly low blows Cena right in front of the referee. Referee calls for the bell for a DQ, and then that's that for that match. And then you see Drew McIntyre picking up the undisputed WWE Championship, swatting Cody Rhodes over the head with it, and then putting the belt down. He's being ushered away by refs and officials. Next thing you know, Cody's laying over near the commentator's desk, and then Drew then goes in for a Claymore kick, right, to literally hit Cody Rhodes' his head onto the announce desk. Onto the legs of the actual table, and then that was that for the show. It's a fairly basic episode of SmackDown. Nothing too drastic or anything. I think best part of the show was probably Cena's promo to start the show off, as obviously Cena has only got 11 more dates left with WWE now before he officially goes and officially retires. He is also literally, I had read just before I had actually come live, about 10 minutes before I'd actually started this podcast, that John Cena is going to be officially retiring his usual in-ring attire as well. So, like the colourful T-shirts, like the like the jean shorts, like the baseball caps and everything. So every time he comes out to do anything now after his retirement, every time you see John Cena now in a WWE on-screen fashion, he will be wearing a suit and tie. So I've heard. Whether or not he actually sticks to those guns is an entirely different situation. But yeah, so yeah, as I say, fairly, it was a watchable episode of SmackDown. Again, nothing fantastic. I am happy that Cena's still or has gone back to being a babyface. But at the same time, I was sort of liking the whole heel run as the undisputed champion. And, I think they only literally give him this 17th title run, like the 17th world title run, just so he can go out as the 17-time world heavyweight champion within the WWE. I think they could have played it off so he would have still been champion. I'm not saying that he shouldn't have lost it back to Cody Rhodes. I just think that he should have lost it back to Cody Rhodes a bit later on. But yeah, like I am all right with seeing him back as a babyface. But I was then starting to get behind the heel run, because when he turned heel back at the Elimination Chamber back in February, I was like, oh, fuck's sake, this is going to be bollocks, right? And then sort of, the past sort of like month or two, I've, been like, sort of starting to get a bit better, like now Cody's back and everything, and, coming into fruition. And what you're building up to SummerSlam, I'm like, could we see one or two more matches after this, and maybe see like a culmination to Cena and Cody at Survivor Series, or maybe a culmination at whenever Cena is actually retiring, whenever that may be, specific date wise, and whatever the specific date and show, because I don't actually know when Cena is actually having his last match. It might have been announced, but I don't actually know when he's due or set, whatever you want to say, to actually have his retirement and final match in the WWE. Does that make any sort of sense? I know that after SmackDown last night, he's only got 11 more dates. Not 11 more matches, 11 more dates and 11 more appearances between now and obviously the end of the year, which isn't a lot, really, because with Mania, like the Raw after Mania, he had, I think it was like mid-20s still left. But yeah, 11 more dates. He can't really have that many more matches left with 11 more dates, because it all depends on like how many more times they're going to be bringing it back to cut a promo. And basically just to remind everyone that, this is his last year, like the Royal Rumble this year was my last, the Elimination Chamber this year was my last, Mania this year was my last, all that. I fucking sounded more like my crappy impersonation of fucking Donald Trump there, but yeah, do you know what I mean? To me, it's been quite repetitive. But as a heel Cena, like the promos that Cena has been cutting since he's been heel, and especially since he's been undisputed champion, obviously up until SummerSlam this past weekend, I think as a heel Cena, since he's been champion, I was able to get behind that. Right, I think had he have done all this continuously as a babyface, we've seen all that before. So you know what I mean, but I think as a heel, I was able to get behind it more because it's something different. Do you know what I mean? Then because I've always grown up seeing Cena as a babyface. Do you know what I mean? You know, when I first got back into wrestling back in 2009, you know, it's fucking 16 years ago now, right? It was, you know, like I've always seen Cena as a babyface and cutting, you know, these like you want some, come get something, like type of promos. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, so you know, but yeah, you know, as I say, you know, like I'm not against Cody being champion again. I'd have just liked to have seen how they could have worked out Cena leaving the WWE still champion, you know, or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Or if they're going to play it out so they haven't turned heel again, and then have another match against Cody in. Maybe, you know, Cody will still be undisputed champion for when Cena retires, and then Cody and Cena then have a one-on-one match as Cena's retirement match, and then yeah. But then, how do you play Brock Lesnar into all this? Is Lesnar actually going to come back, or as I said earlier, did WWE literally only bring him back as a money-making sort of like publicity stunt sort of thing? Do you know what I mean? You know, just to make money online, you know, through YouTube, through Instagram, through Facebook, through TikTok, you know, through the press, you know, yeah, so, you know, but yeah. Let me know your views down in the comments. You know, how do you think the rest? Because obviously we've got Clash at Paris coming up as well with him and Logan Paul. How do you think the rest of John Cena's retirement tour is going to plan out? And it's gonna pan out. Let me know in the comments down below. And yeah, so. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of the Nerdic Pro podcast, I'm going to leave this here. So yeah, as I said, let me know, let everyone know, like, what you think is going to happen throughout the remainder of John Cena's retirement in WWE. Yeah, if you haven't already, please do give us a thumbs up. Please to give us a subscribe here on the Nerdic Pro Podcast YouTube channel. Check out the Nerdic Pro Podcast's sister show of the Nerdic Pro Podcast Football over on Facebook. Check out the Nerdic Pro Podcast on Facebook as well. Please do give us a follow on there as well. Give us a follow on TikTok as well. There'll be like little mini snippets of so starting from the start of September, I'll be putting up a few sort of snippets of podcasts on there, up onto the Nerdic Pro Podcast's TikTok page, and yeah, maybe even doing like the odd live or two on TikTok, because that seems to be a bit of a trend nowadays, going live on TikTok. You know, never actually done fuck all on TikTok. So, yeah, you know, like there are videos up on the Nerdic Pro Podcast's TikTok, but very few and a very minimalistic amount. As my knowledge of TikTok is very, very slim, as I very rarely use it. Right? Same with Instagram. You know, I've not added anything up onto there for nearly a year, right? And, yeah, I think the last time I put anything up onto the Nerdic Pro's Instagram page was when I interviewed Barrett Brown last September. Like start of last September, Barrett Brown, as seen in WWE, as seen in New Japan, the leader of the Stray Dog Army. He was the last ever NWA World Junior Heavyweight Champion when Billy Corgan had took on the NWA, did away with the whole like alliance thing, and decided to have it as like a standalone promotion, and did away with everything besides the women's world heavyweight, like the world's heavyweight, the women's, and the world tag team titles. I think was still a thing, but everything else, like the North American, the world junior heavyweight, the North American tag titles, etc., were all discontinued Barrett Brown was the last ever World Junior Heavyweight Champion in the NWA. Obviously, the World Junior Heavyweight is now back, but before he got brought back, Barrett Brown was the last ever NWA World Junior Heavyweight Champion. And yeah, he's also wrestled this year for AEW. He's also this year wrestled for Ring of Honor. He's also a former ARWF World Cruiserweight Champion. Go check out the ARWF, the Nerdic Pro podcast, are also on the ARWF network. So yeah, on here on YouTube. So yeah. Yeah. So yeah, fun. But yeah, Barrett Brown, I think that was the last thing I put out on Instagram. So yeah, that was near on like a year ago now. So yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna get going. And yeah, as I said, if you haven't already, give us a subscribe here on YouTube. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss out whenever we go live here on YouTube or whenever any content gets put out. Stay tuned, as I am working on a few bits and pieces for YouTube and to be released here on YouTube very, very soon. And yeah, just like a few like pre-recorded bits that I'm going to be doing it through StreamYard to put up onto YouTube. Check out the Nerdic Pro Podcast's sister show of the Nerdic Pro Podcast Football, run by a good friend of ours, Tommy Rump. And yeah, go check out the Nerdic Pro Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, etc. And yeah, so anyways, my name has, as usual, been Bobby effing Salastar. Thank you all very much to those of you who have been watching live. I very much appreciate it. And as I say, please do give us a subscribe if you haven't already. Give the podcast a like as well. Go check out other various bits and pieces here on YouTube and on Facebook and on TikTok and on Instagram. So literally just posts on Instagram. There's no videos on there or anything. So yeah, but still feel free to go check it out. And yeah, thank you all very much. And I shall be seeing you all later. Goodbye.